My name is Romain, and for the past 10 years I've learned how to perfect the personal finance game in the United States. In this video I'm going to walk you through how, over the past decade, I've been able to increase my salary from $35,000 to last year achieving $290,000 with 5 streams of income. This video is not meant to brag, but to purely describe you through my journey coming here as an immigrant wanting to achieve the American dream. I'm going to walk you through my experience, my decisions, the pros and cons, my fails and regrets. So follow along as this is going to be interesting. Alright guys, the story starts in 1992. I'm born in the south of France. I wasn't good at school right away, pretty much failing on most of the things that I'm taking. And so at 17, I'm like, heck, let me take a shot and live independently in Switzerland, where I decided to study business and finance. Turns out everything was great because I finally was able to get a hold of my life and ultimately became valedictorian of my promotion. During that time, I worked side jobs in Europe and decided to export myself in Asia, specifically Thailand, to understand a different culture. In 2014, I received a call from someone that may be interested in recruiting me in the US. And it was in Las Vegas. I take the call and I'm like, wow, this could be it. Let me get a shot at this. I take a flight, no jokes, from Switzerland to Las Vegas for a $35,000 job because I wanted to be in person and show them my motivations. It was a 2-day trip. I come back a couple days later, I receive a call. Hey, Romain, let's make it happen. So at 21 years old, I pack my bag from Switzerland, decide to live and go on to try the American dream. I arrive in Las Vegas, the city of sin, and quickly I realized that this was nothing that I was imagining. I don't understand credit. I have no idea about credit cards. What the heck is going on? But what I knew though is that I wanted to play the game. I knew that if I was studying the game and applying the right rules, I could one day master it. Early on, I make a bunch of mistakes. I know what I wanted was a brand new Mustang. Turns out a year or so after I arrived, I buy myself a $31,000 Mustang on an interest rate that's crazy. So when I look at people that come here on this show, I know what they are feeling. I was going through the same emotions. 3 months after buying the Mustang, I was doing drag racing legally in Las Vegas. I blew up the engine and turns out now I'm minus $12,000 underwater. Heck, I sell the car as fast as I know. I'm pretty much broke and I buy the first car that I see on Craigslist. Trying to make it happen was still sustaining a decent life. Couple years into my job, I find myself to be succeeding pretty well. In fact, 2 years after arriving, I get a raise, which brings me to $55,000. And over that time, I continue growing through the system, trying to understand how could I very much play the corporate game. In 2019, I reached $70,000, and at this time, I feel stuck. I was like, I don't know what other steps I can take to increase my income. And at the time, I received a call from a friend who decided to go forward with an MBA. And I asked myself, heck, could this be worth it? I mean, why not? I already have a double bachelor. Isn't that enough? But I learned, again, how to play the system. And so I lock myself 2 hours after work, no joke, every day, pretty much grinding to get on the GMAT, which I eventually succeed after 7 tries. Why 7 tries? Because midway through my studies, I go through a green light and I get hit at 55 miles per hour on my door by a drunk with no insurance. Fortunately, I had uninsured, underinsured insurance, which you should have as well. In fact, I spent 3 days in coma. I wake up, I can't remember what's going on, and my memory is confused. This completely delayed pretty much a lot of the ambitions that I have and ultimately cost me a very important relationship. A couple months later, I ultimately succeed at the test, and I'm accepted into different top schools. In fact, if you're looking for an MBA, my recommendation is to make the effort to target top schools. They have the network, they have the recruiters, and they have the brand equity. I get accepted into Cornell, 70% scholarship. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's take a shot at this. I leave, I'm by myself. And for the most part, for most of my life here in the United States, I've always been by myself. All my families and most of my friends are back in France, and I have a couple acquaintances that I've had the chance to build in Las Vegas. However, it's a city of come and goes, and so people don't really stay for here that long. A couple months after starting my MBA, COVID hits, and I'm again locked inside of an apartment like many of you, and I decide to really put myself into understanding how can I be more efficient and more productive in my approach. I start taking consulting calls with people that are struggling financially and really kind of spark the idea around maybe this is something that I could contribute to society. Because at the time when I was in Vegas, I felt just like a number in a corporation. But here I have people that somehow are willing to open up. And I feel like I'm able to create a connection, even if it was over Zoom, with some of those individuals. Ultimately, after 2 years of studying this MBA, I get into Amazon. Amazon right away offers me $145,000. And I'm like, wow, this is money that I've never seen. But guess what? I need to relocate to Seattle, which is one of the most expensive cities in the United States. Turns out, guys, no joke, my quality of life in Seattle at a higher salary was lower than when I was making less in Vegas. Anyway, I'm excited. I take the job and I rock and roll. Over that time, I very much continue to ask myself, hey, what is something that I can do? I have a good income. I'm making it, you could say more or less. How can I diversify my portfolio? How can I make money work for me? I knew that early on I wasn't really saving. In fact, by the time I left Las Vegas, I almost had no savings. I had a little bit of a retirement accounts, which I decided to cash out about 30% of it to help me pay for student loans. What a silly mistake at the time, but I didn't know. I had no idea. I mean, I was just excited to give myself a shot at this. I decided to look into different opportunities while still maintaining calls with people that are reaching out to find help about their personal finance. Over that time, I venture myself into different business opportunities that I'm going to walk you through today. And so right now, I'm about to present to you the 5 different streams of income that I've accomplished in 2023 and what led me to reach $290,000 last year. The first one, of course, is a W-2, a 9-to-5. I work full-time for a tech company, and this brings me about $17,000 per month. Early in 2023, I also decided to interest myself into the world of real estate. I knew I didn't want to be fully accountable for a house yet because I didn't really felt ready. And I didn't really have that much of savings, to be honest with you. And so I buy a 1971 Airstream and I decided to completely remodel it on my parking lot in front of my house. Ultimately, the Airstream is running today as an Airbnb and pretty much takes absolutely none of my time. And it's bringing me around $2,200 per month. I decide to make sure that I can again make my money work for me, and I look for additional real estate play without having to deal with renters, Section 8, because I was not going to ball on buying a crazy expensive house. In fact, I was looking at real estate probably in the Tennessee areas of the world where cost is pretty low, but rent can be high, and it's a landlord-friendly state. I wasn't really too much into it, didn't want to kind of overwhelm myself with so much equity, and so I looked for other options. Turns out there is an option in real estate that is called hard money lending. And what that consists of is you pretty much lend money to a project, generally flippers, wholesalers, or else, and they pay you interest on fairly short-term loan. Today, I'm earning about $940 per month from lending money on projects that are pretty much backed up by equity. We've had a couple episodes where I tackle that, but I will expand further when speaking with people where I can bring advanced strategies. I am pretty much right now asking for about a 15% return. So I have 2 projects that are each $25,000 and 1 project that is $15,000. And I am pretty much gathering 15% interest per year. And those projects range from 4 months to 7 months with, again, there is a measurement of risk, but it's backed up by the equity, so it's all about studying the deal. And I can make a video on that if you guys are interested. Lately, February 2023, I find myself wanting to push and see if I can bring content into the finance calls that I was already taking. And I get inspired by Caleb Hammer's video, and I want to do something that's just a little bit different. So in February, I write a business plan to launch this YouTube channel. I lock myself, taking 1 week of paid time off to truly articulate on paper how I want to approach this show, how I want to build it, how I want it to show. It took me 4 months of very intense learning, watching every video that I could, learning about YouTube, learning about setting up this studio here, because I wanted right from the get-go to publish the highest video possible. And only recently something has started to work. Over the course of next year, I spent $32,000 in this YouTube channel. Yeah, $32,000. While this is a lot of money, I truthfully believe that the quality of the stories that I've brought up can compare to my competition. Not just that, is the reward that I get from people accomplishing their goals. 93% of people that have come to the show have improved their financial situations. But coming back to the numbers, last month, I have made $3,400 with YouTube. So when in my videos I speak about people that are willing to just go all in at it, but then don't have the financial backup to build something, they will get stuck, except if a miracle arises. Anyway, coming back to the numbers, I also invest my money into different investments. I have dividend plays. I'm working with legal to see to how much I can open up, potentially in the next video about some of my investment strategies. Number 2, of course, I have money saved up, about $50,000 into a high yield saving account. And I also have T-bills. T-bills right now pay about 5.3% or so. And those are not taxable capital gains. So this is money that is going to be pretty much locked into a 1-year contract with the government and allows you to benefit from the high rates that exist right now. Altogether, and accounting for recent gains, this averages my 2023 income at $290,000. What I want to let you know though, is that this didn't come like this. My weekly average number of hours worked in 2023 per week was close to 74 hours a week. Why? Because I record my hours and I look myself to be the best and most efficient person I can be. On top of that, I'm not accounting for any of the follow-ups that are coming up with the guests and the information that I'm always ready to provide and comment for you. My goal with this channel is not just to have an impact with the people that are speaking here, but also to have an impact to you, the viewer, because I truthfully believe that if you understand the cards that you can play and you have the knowledge about how to act, you can also allow yourself to give a shot at the American dream. Thank you so much for your support and for giving me the chance to realize my dream, help people, and in a way to me that feels real. Being freaking real. I am tired of all the bullshit that exists on some of those platforms. And I want for freaking once, to bring real experience, real stories, and real outcome to this platform. I will be continuing those videos, story time type of videos, in some of the next segments, really highlighting some of my investment strategies, big projects that are ongoing now for 2024, including an e-com brand that I'm building from zero. Forget about all the drop shipping BS or any of that. This is a product that I've literally designed myself, and I'm right now at the final stage of launching. Guys, I'm here, like many of you, to try and make it and to try and make sure that I am giving a fair shot at this. Otherwise, I pack my bag and I go back to France. Thank you so much, guys, for following along. I hope that you enjoy this type of video, me speaking unfiltered, unscripted, directly to you. Follow along for some of our next content. Until then, I see you next time. À bientôt.